Hey everybody, it's Matt Schmidt here, and I want to go over something really important in this video. I've been getting a lot of questions about what do I sell, where do I start. I'm all in on selling physical products, but I want to figure out what it is and what's the product that I want to sell. And I think that's a good, your wheels are churning, right? It's a good thing. But at the same time, I want to steer you in a different direction. And I want to talk about two strategies for profit. There's a low margin, high volume, or high margin and lower volume. And so instead of trying to figure out what product you're going to sell, start figuring out where you're going to go inside your niche, whatever niche that you select, and figure out the price point that you're going to attack first, because it's going to be so different. It's not just that we're selling t-shirts anymore, or if you never sold a t-shirt before, it's not just one product that we're trying to figure out anymore. Physical products, the beauty of e-commerce is that you can literally sell anything. And so what you need to figure out is what are you going to sell first as far as price point. So you're going to sell the low margin, high volume, or the high margin, lower volume. So just for an example purpose, we got the free plus shipping model is going to fit that low margin, high volume. Lower priced items, which are generally overall cheaper in quality. Yes, I don't want you to have cheap in quality, but cheaper than a retail item. You can get this in the necklace field or the jewelry field where it's not, it's not sterling silver, it's like a zinc alloy. And that'll get you at a lower price point. And it's more of like what people would call costume jewelry, but there are people out there that will wear this stuff. So, and then they'll be happy about it. That's the reason that it's there, is that it serves a market, right? It wouldn't be selling or available or manufactured if people weren't purchasing it. So, but you have to position yourself correctly, right? It doesn't have, you're not trying to sell them this beautiful necklace that, you don't tell them it's real diamonds. You don't tell them it's made out of silver when it's not. That's where it's deceiving. That's where you're leading your customers down the wrong path. If you're upfront with them and say it's a zinc alloy, it's a necklace, we're selling it for $9.95. It's beautiful, but it's not made of sterling silver. The couple examples of the industries or the companies that have evolved around this kind of model are Walmart. Low prices, right? They don't take a high margin on their products that they sell. That's what Walmart is known for. They sell an enormous amount because they have so much traffic. They have these monster buildings that people just pile into 24 hours a day. So if you ever try to sell in Walmart, they'll always try to take your product and go lower than what you sell it in the competition, because they can offer the traffic. And so you're kind of taking that model and molding it to that industry, right? And then McDonald's, again, they're everywhere, right? They own a ridiculous amount of real estate. So they don't have to be the highest quality burger, first of all, or the highest priced burger, second. So it's just the fact that they're everywhere. And you're going to get somebody very quickly who wants something fast and want it easy. They like it too, but it's about convenience and location and so on and so forth. And they just sell tons of stuff. So could they, beef up their burgers a little bit? No pun intended there, but could they also, add a little bit more quality, so on and so forth? You've seen that trend, right? But their margins aren't as big as like another chain, something like that. So I also used Shop and Save. I'm not sure if everybody's going to have what that is. That's basically a grocery store that's in the St. Louis area that competes with some of our nicer places. The products aren't like always going to be the brand name, and they cut out, like, they don't have baggers or anything like that. You have to bag your own stuff, but their prices are ridiculous because they don't have to bake all those costs that they cut out into the cost of the item that they're selling, that another location, a higher priced place, will have to do. So high margin and lower volume, well, then we're talking about retail items, just retail items meaning fully priced items, right? A t-shirt that we get for $10 that we sell for $25. That's a retail item. So, that can be really anything that you take a full margin on. So, whatever that margin is, whatever you can justify within your market, because, jewelry, you can do a $10 necklace that's made of sterling silver and has, cubic zirconium in it and all these other different features to it. You could justify like 20 or 30 bucks for it because it's nice, right? A t-shirt, the retail industry is, we've already tested that one out. All the Teespringer guys, if you can get a custom designed, nice Gildan shirt, you can sell it from anywhere from 20 to 25 bucks pretty comfortably. So that's the retail item industry right there. And then premium items, you're going to sell a lot less of these. This is going to be where, your the athletic dry fit shirts come in, or the really premium shoes, or that really nice TVs. Like a Samsung 4K TV doesn't need, it's going to sell tons of TVs, but it's all relative, right? So if you take the 4K Samsung TV that costs $5,000, they might sell, 1 million of them, but the Vizio, lower end, not 4K, and it's just like 720p technology, and then that one sells 20 million or 30 million of them. So volume is relative to the industry. And so a premium item that is very expensive in comparison to its competitors isn't there to sell the same amount. It's like the craft beer industry versus the, premium, the light beer industry. Like the light beer industry isn't there for you to think that it's the greatest beer that you've ever tasted ever. It's there for you to have a 6-pack while you're looking at a game, watching a game. And then the craft beer, you're for like 1 or 2, and then you're full, and so on and so forth. And it costs you a lot more money. So the industries are different. You have to think through what you're selling when you're selling it, okay? So in the higher margin, lower volume, think Macy's, Lululemon. If you've ever seen how outrageously priced Lululemon is, I have a friend that has a $125 pair of pants, and they look almost exactly like my $25 pair of pants. And it's just like, everybody's got their thing. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, about price points and why you should have different items available for you in your store for your customers. Whole Foods is the opposite, in my opinion, of Shop and Save. Whole Foods, you walk around and there's a restaurant in there and there's all these fancy things, and that's all that costs. It's money. And then they transfer, the way that they're still profitable with all those fancy things in their store is because they bake it into the cost of the items that they sell. And that's why the food there is outrageously priced. So, but it hits a market, right? Macy's, Lululemon, Whole Foods, all are very successful. And the reason that they are successful is because they're serving a market that wants the premium, that buys the premium stuff. And then Walmart, McDonald's, and Shop and Save, all very successful. And almost have, they're kind of opposites of each other in some regards. And so why are they both making money? Because there's different types of people out there. You want to serve different markets. So when you're entering a market, it's up to you where you start. I suggest, however, that if you're newer, it's going to be easier for you to start at a lower priced item and go for the volume. The reason for that is because it's going to convert for you at a lower price. So if you're new and you don't have a big budget, or you're afraid of spending money because it's like this new thing for you. I rember when I spent my first $100 on Facebook ads and I was freaking out because it was $100. And that's a lot of money just to be blown away of not knowing what you're doing. So what I would suggest, if you're brand new, I still do this to this day. I do volume plays all the time. But if I suggest to you that what you do is start lower so you can convert at a lower price if you're doing your ads right? Go through the training, make sure that the ads are making sense to you, and start small and work your way up. Lower priced items appeal to a wider audience than the higher priced items. Somebody who makes a lot of money per year, the top 1% would still buy the right, $9 item if it was put in front of them. But the lower middle class, or, those kind of people don't buy the Lululemon premium stuff. So if you're trying to sell a lot of something and you want to get a lot of money coming in the door, but you don't have a lot of money to spend, it's easier to roll over the lower priced model. So they generally have a larger supply base. When you're talking about lower items too, they're generally having a larger supply base than your premium items. What that means is that if you have a supplier and you're selling this necklace, and you have a supplier and it costs like $4 for the necklace, and you're selling it for $15 or whatever it is, it's a lower priced item. that item is probably made by lots of different kinds of suppliers, or they have lots of different distributors distributing that item, because you're not selling something that, or at least at this point, you're not selling something that you invented or you had modified or anything like that. You're just selling something that's available in the market, and you're putting it in front of the right people. Well, that means it's probably been sold a lot before, and there's other people with supply of that item. Now, the higher you go, the less likely that's going to be, right? There's not just a bunch of yachts sitting around somewhere for you to, pick up and sell to somebody. But there's a lot of those Nerf necklaces you'll see in this video, in the video section, where, I have tons of people to go to if my supplier runs out. So I can just hop over to this guy or hop over to the next guy and make sure that I have supply, not necessarily him, but I always have supply because it's a low-priced item that's available in the market in different places. So something just to take into consideration when you're starting off. Can I sell higher-priced items right away? Of course you can. Just note that you will likely have to spend more money to make sales per item. That's the rule, not the exception. I don't want to have a comment on this video like, smiley face, I make... I sell $60 items for $1 conversions. I get that that can happen, but I'm talking to the general audience here. I'm talking about the rule, not the exception. You will likely have to spend more to convert a higher priced item. That's just the nature of the industry. The reason for that is exactly what I told you, because there's fewer people out there who were going to buy a higher priced item. There's plenty of people that will click your link and look at it and make you, spend money on if you have a link ad or if you have a, whatever, a click the website ad, and you're paying per clicks. Yeah, you're going to spend a lot more money because you're going to get a bunch of window shoppers. But, if you are okay with that, if you're okay with spending $30 to make 60, if you can afford that over the grand scheme of things, then do it. You don't get paid right away with Shopify. You do get paid pretty quickly, but you don't get paid right away. So manage your cash flow and manage your expectations too, right? I mean, a lot of people who start off and have made their way up, and myself included, we've had to be patient. I've had to, when I was starting off on Teespring, I had to be patient to get that pay period to come back so I could run more ads. And then, get more and more and more. It's not just like you're going to immediately have all this money just churning and available for you to see and hit these big numbers that people flash in front of you. If I sell low, when should I start to sell high? Whenever you are ready, right? If you got the hang of this, if you got your store working good, if you're selling a low-priced item, make sure that you're taking in orders and you're fulfilling them. You're taking care of customer support. You got a good fast turnaround. All your issues are taken care of. You got your supply situation is working, and then move on to your next item. Generally, the product life cycle will give you enough time to give that a full run through, right? You got a lot of orders coming through in your growth period, your mature period. You're fulfilling these orders. You're getting customer support requests. You're answering all of these things. Your customers are happy, and then you can scale out. If you have 300 things in your store on day one, and you manually have to fulfill all these orders, it might be a little harder for you to keep up. And maybe you need to back it down a little bit. That's why I presented the MVP model to begin with, because that is something that will help you get started very easily. And it won't be a million items in your store for you to fulfill and answer questions about. Important. Low-priced items doesn't mean bad quality. It just means cheaper quality. I don't want you selling stuff that just breaks when it gets to the customer. It's going to happen, especially if you sell something that's like a zinc alloy or whatever. That's going to happen. And then you have to anticipate that. And you're probably going to get more complaints the lower you go. If you sell an item that only costs $4, I mean, and you got it from China, I mean, it's not going to be the most premium quality there. And people sometimes, unfortunately, people being your customers, have a bad perception. They think that it's okay. Or they should expect like the world when, they're buying $4 worth of material here. So just understand that's the nature of the beast. Offering a wide variety of price points helps give people options to buy and options to add to their cart. What do I mean by that? I often turn back to the beer industry. If you go into a gas station, there are beer 6-packs priced at very different levels. So you have $4.99 6-pack, you have a $5.99, $6.99, $7.99. The reason for that is, yes, it's taste profile. They have slight changes in taste. However, the main thing is that there are people who are going to get off work, they're going to go to the gas station, they're going to want a 6-pack of beer, they're going to go in there and see that the lowest one's $7.99, and they're going to walk back out without buying anything. But if they come in there and they see $6.99, they're going to grab it and go, because that's their price point. It's just how things are done. That's why cars, when you have trucks, there's all these different types of trucks. Yes, it's for size and capability, but it's also, they have to have the options there for people to buy, because not everybody can afford a $50,000 truck. I mean, think about the Nissan Maxima and the Nissan Altima. There's very minor differences. And the money is what really separates the premium. Like, it's the quality, right? The Maxima goes fast, blah, blah, blah. It's got leather, all these different things. But you pay that price point. So they have different options available within the same relative car. Keep your perspective is my last point here, is that if you want to make $100,000 a month, know that it means your ROI would have to be 100% on $50,000 in spend, of all spend, right? So if you see a number and you guys want to hit it, understand that it's going to take there, if you're getting started and you're starting our way up and you don't have a lot of cash flow. If you can't spend $50,000 in a month right now, what is the likelihood that you'll hit that? That's perfectly okay. Just work your way up and don't get discouraged if you don't hit the number that you're trying to obtain. This is a business, not a quick, get money rich scheme, right? Take your way up. So if your products are low priced and your margin is thinner, you need to take more action to make that 100% ROI happen, right? That's just math. If you sell a product for $2 and if you sell a product for $2.50 and it costs you $2, it's going to be real hard for you to get to 100% ROI. You got to take some actions there. You're going to have to be selling more than one item or something like that. And then make sure to keep your costs into perspective, not only your product cost, but your ad cost and everything else in between, your team cost, and everything that's involved with your store. And I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you a place to get started. I think if you're brand new, or you're at least brand new to Shopify, that's where I started. I started at things that were lower priced than my t-shirts that I was selling. I've been selling t-shirts for years. My logical step was, all right, I've been blasting the same targeting, the same marketing with $20 to $40. What happens if I sell with things starting off that are below $20? And you guys saw what happened. So that's the kind of steps that you can take and work your way up to the premium items, as long as you're taking care of your customers everywhere in between. Okay? So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.